Yeah, so let's go ahead and swing for the fences. So the finale. I'm just curious for all you guys' perspective. The way that it ended. I mean, of course, it was an amazing sequence. It was beautifully choreographed. It was beautifully sung. It was beautifully shot. But did your guys' interpretation of what happened was that Rue OD'd, or did you feel like she just lost herself? What was your interpretation of that in transition to the special that was with Coleman Domingo and of course Zendaya for the very first part one special? So I was curious y'all's perspective on that transition before we even get into the episode.
So she 100% overdose in the season one finale, if that's what you're referring to. I think
Yep.
she 1,000% overdose. It's just that there's been a time skippage, like a flash forward, if you will. And sorry, what was the second part of your question? What do we think of this?
Going in transition to this sequence right here. Going into from that moment, going to right here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this episode and going into it from the finale?
I thought this was a great episode. I think I gave it like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic, even though it's just Ali and Rue talking for like what felt like an hour and 40 minutes. But no, I think it's a fantastic episode. I thought it was deep. It was pretty harrowing, and probably my favorite performance from what's the dude's name? Coleman Domingo. Yeah.
Nat or Ant, what about you guys? What did you guys think about the finale and even transitioning over to the specials leading to the first episode that we just saw?
And if you want to go first.
Yeah, I 100% thought she OD'd. I got a very if anybody watched Nurse Jackie, Nurse Jackie ended with kind of the same kind of sequence, this surreal OD experience. That's what I got from that, but I loved it. Just all the themes they dealt with throughout the season, just was crazy portrayed. And this leading into the special, I love. I'm sure there's a term for it, don't know, but I love just two characters in a room talking scenarios, like the sunset limiter and things like that, because you can get the writing in that down. You get some amazing stuff out of that, and you get really deep dive into what those characters are going through. I also like from the perspective of her sponsor. A lot of times people think to be a sponsor or to be a mental health professional or a big brother, you got to be perfect, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to be perfect. You're going through some of the same stuff they went through, or you've been down that road, and you're really just trying to point out pitfalls that you dealt with, and you know how to how not to fall for certain BS or sob stories that get in the way of somebody getting to their higher functioning points. So I don't know. I loved it. I loved both specials, but especially that first one.
Great. What about you, Nat?
Yeah, I agree with both of the men here. So like the season finale, it was a little jarring for me initially, but I rolled with it. Like I knew it was she OD'd, and it was weird, but it still worked for the context of the show. Mm-hmm. And just transitioning to the special, it was just super raw, and the conversation is really relevant to someone that has an addiction, and even like what Ant said, you're getting it from the sponsor's perspective as well as her, and the acting was just phenomenal. Like it was, it was just really, really good. It was really good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. For me, so this is the thing, for context, so you guys don't know, I looked at the first episode of season 2 first, before I looked at anything else. I had not seen the episode, I had not seen the specials, and it was brought to my attention from Lucas. He was like, you know what, if the show is so good, you can watch one episode of just the second season and then go back and let them know ahead of time if it's worth it. And it was so interesting because as soon as I got done with the first episode of season 2, I was like, I gotta go back. So I binged the whole entire thing and the 2 specials. And I felt like, again, the cinematography, the acting, the rawness, and then even like the time jump and what that meant for these very flawed but very special and important characters to this narrative It's just so amazing in so many different respects. I can't really put it into words, but let's just get into it. So,
wait, can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was also missing the soundtrack of every episode. The soundtrack of this show is amazing.
Yeah.
I need that on my Spotify playlist. Hold on a second, real quick. I am digging it. I am pouring back, and this first episode was all about us '90s kids. So,
right,
it's so good. I was like, wow, they're bringing us back. Like, I feel like I was at a party from the 90s. Like, it was so awesome.
it definitely had that. Everything about it had that vibe of a party that you've been to or you've seen. Like, you feel it. Like, you feel it from the atmosphere, the way it was shot, all the different scenarios, whether fantastical or not. Like, it really did feel like, okay, this is it. And they brought you in, of course, with the music, as they always really do. But what did you guys feel about this episode? Like, did it meet your expectations? Did it go past your expectations? Was it just okay? I'm just curious y'all's perspective.
Can I just say the music in the show is fantastic, and this show not only turned me on to Megan Stallion, but there's a song from Megan Stallion called "Cock as Fuck." That shit is fucking fantastic. Anyway, wiping that away. I guarantee it bumps on the whip, but. Anyway, so the first episode, season 2, I think I gave season 1 like an 8 out of 10, and intriguingly, this first episode, season 2, I've probably given it like an 8 out of 10. It definitely reminds me. I was telling Sam that the first time I was watching season 1, I actually really didn't like it, and then my buddy was watching it, and I watched it with him, and then that sort of rewired something. So oddly, this first pilot's pretty similar. Like, it's very abrasive. It's very in your face with like disgusting or like imagery that I did not prefer to see. At least not in that sort of execution anyway. Yeah, I thought it was great. I am a little concerned with where this is all leading. But other than that, I thought it was pretty great. Pretty great.
Okay. Nat, what about you?
I thought it was, again, a little jarring, but it helped me remember what happened in season 1 and just the craziness of it. And I'm like, okay, we're right back where we left off as far as the craziness and just the shock factor of like just stuff popping off, and it's going to get worse throughout the season, especially with Nate and Fez. Like that last scene, I'm just like, wow. But the beginning part, for me, it kind of dragged just a little long. Like, I was like, okay, we got the grandma, Fez's, grandma. We now know like how she got into a coma, that kind of thing. But I felt like it was like a little too long. I felt like I was starting to get bored just a little bit, but then it picked back up again, and we were pretty much catching up with everyone. So yeah, it's still solid for me. If I had to rate it, I would probably still do like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. What about you, Ant?
Oh man, I loved everything about this episode from beginning to end. I will say that there was a lot of things that the jarring image. Look, there's a lot of penis, people. There's a lot of penis. There's just a lot of penis.
There's
and
a lot of full frontal.
Equality. We want erect penis, and I'm pretty sure that's the first erect penis on the HBO show. But they were like, we're getting erect penis for equality, and I think that's what happened. So just prepare for it. It's in your face. It's penis from all angles, people. Penis from all angles. But like you said before, the main setting was the party. And it's a party we've all been to. I've been that person. I've avoided that person.
Right.
I wanted to be that person. I didn't want to be that person. So it was great. The collaboration of how they make this is just so artful, because we've seen stereotypical high school, college party scenes and whatnot. But no, this felt a lot. It felt like they actually threw a party. Like, look, guys, this party. We got some scenes to film, and we're gonna be doing some angles or whatever. But you keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really felt like.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt with all that. One thing that I realized, I don't know if you guys feel it differently than me, because I didn't wait like 3 to 4 years for this. I literally just watched it like day before yesterday and yesterday. So it's kind of like I remember like a lot of the episodes in season one started off with random characters that Rue was telling the origin story, and I was kind of like I didn't know enough about Fez, and I didn't really know enough about Ashtray. So for me, it was like this is my very first opening to the show, and so I was like, okay, all right, engage me, show me something, and they showed me everything. I had no idea or preconceived notion about Rue or Jules or any other character. It was just what it was, and it was such an interesting story because in going back and watching it and leading up to that point, it was kind of like Mouse was putting him in a pressure cooker because of what Nate did, and it all led up to the point that Ashtray ended up having to kill Mouse because of the ramifications of what Nate did. But even deeper than that, like why, Fez is the way he is. Why we're at this point where like things are about to really get really dangerous very quickly, because the very opening of it, what I'm saying, like going from the flashback to the situation where they thought they might die because they all got, hammed up by this dude was like, yo, you got a wire on, strip, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And like that unknown situation, like my first introduction to the show, I loved it. Because I had no idea what was actually going to happen. I didn't know what kind of show I was watching. So for me, coming in brand new, I was like, this is freaking nuts. And so what did you guys think about the sequence where Rue was in another compromised situation again? But even deeper than that, we didn't know who this woman was, nor these people that were in the house. What did you guys think was going to pop off? And how did you think about the scene personally? Anybody?
I'll go. Okay, so this was a crazy scene. I kept on asking myself, Rue, why are you there?
For drugs. She needed
like she could have hung out at the house while they did their thing. Like she didn't have to go with them. She could have waited until they were done with their business and then got the drugs that she needed to get. Like I just don't understand why she had to be there in the first place. Like I just don't. But I was worried about her because we were talking about this before. Like it's like a ticking time bomb. Like she's going to be in a situation where it's not going to be ideal and she's not going to be able to get out of it. And I'm just super worried about her. And this was another example of why I'm worried about her.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely felt all of that because I was kind of like, I didn't know. I didn't know what the show was about. I was like, yo, like, I don't need to see like this very violent sexual act right now. And I don't need to see somebody's head get blown off right now. Like this, I didn't know. I really had no idea. If you had said, he just really wanted to check her wire, he was going to put her underneath the water to make sure she was good, I wouldn't have known. I really wouldn't have known. I have no idea. And I love that lack of knowing where things are going to go. But what did you think?
Look, she has no worries about being typecast as a Disney kid at all. She don't have to worry about that at all, or just Spider-Man's girlfriend, not at all. Because this is her work. What I love about this show is I never feel like the characters are safe. Like I don't know that there's going to be a tidy, safe ending. And there's a couple times we discussed. I guess we'll get to it, but there's a couple times where I had general anxiety about what was about to happen. And you don't know. They kind of bring you to this edge of it could happen, it could not happen, and I think we've all known people that live kind of recklessly, like just they just out there, and you're like, why? Like you not give a f, you not like are you okay with whatever happens? Like, and you have that general anxiety for like when you can't get in touch with that kind of person in your life, or you can't. Or they go missing for a period of time and then they pop back up. You're like, oh, that's what this show kind of does for me. Where it's kind of like, it's like, all right, she's in. Oh man, I don't need to see this. I don't need to see. Okay, all right, look, baby girl, it's gonna be okay. I see you. No, you back out there. All right, look. All right, no, you can't. No, I can't give you no more money, but here's some McDonald's. All right.
No, that's some real stuff, man. That's some real stuff. Because to your point, like, yeah, I agree. Like, we can go ahead and proceed on going into leading up to the party because last time we saw the character Cass, Cassie had just had an abortion because she had gotten pregnant with Chris. And I don't know if you guys like Chris in season 1, but I felt like they didn't do anything with Chris as a character at all. And I'm curious to see what will they do more with him. But as far as Cass, like, I think that the actress is an amazing actress. And the funny thing is, like, she is put in this compromised situation. I was like, anything can happen to this girl. And then Nate picks her up of all people. And like that sequence when they were driving,
praise upon her.
You know,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It was a calculated move.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's fine. It's fine because we're gonna have to talk about Nate anyway because a big part of what happens at the end surrounds Nate and Fez and leading up to that, which we'll get to. But
yeah, I will say real quick is that because I didn't really specify just the opening scenes where we sort of see like this origin story for Fez and it's like a spotlight on his grandma and people. There's just insane violence. I think there was something with a hammer. People are getting shot. There's just like erect penises everywhere. It's just ridiculous. And then the situation, the situation in the apartment. Yeah. Well, first off, the intro to Rue, where I believe she's like snorting crack and like rapping, like singing along to Tupac was just like I don't think I could have thought of a better introduction to Rue, unfortunately for her. But and also her being there, I mean, you know, junkie logic, you know what I'm saying? Bing. But when they get in there and they're all told to like strip, it started feeling. I think that's one thing I admire about Sam. It's not easy to get underneath my skin, and the fact that Sam seems to do this with like just ease, like for a moment, like there was like a little boy in the apartment. I was like, geez, like there's no way they're showing a naked little boy, right? Like what the fuck is going on, Sam? We're not addressing anything specifically from the finale. Like it was a pretty nutty atmosphere for sure. By the time Rue was in the shower, so. Yeah, that whole opener was wild.
Yeah, the show, it preys upon you. Like a lot of times feels like thriller. Like there's a lot of thriller moments that you don't know where it's going to, because, you know, Cass being, you know, at the gas station, being picked up by Nate, starts kissing Nate, then proceeds to take her seatbelt off and put her head outside of the window. Like, did any of you guys feel like a Final Destination moment was about to happen? Because I
was like, something's about to happen.
I thought this was about to be. This is when you're just drinking because they were drinking recklessly in the car. Also, a lot of privilege right there. Just drinking recklessly in the car, and the way they framed her taking off her seatbelt, I was like, is she going to get killed? And then he's got to deal with the fact that he's going to get put in. I think it's manslaughter or it might be aggravated assault if you're drinking and driving and you kill somebody or something like that. But whatever it is, like I was like, oh man, I don't need to see this. But even more importantly, going back to like when people feel numb, and especially I don't know, like when people feel numb and sometimes when women feel numb and they're just looking to feel anything. I saw a predator personality like him where he just goes, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna offer her a ride, like you know, and he knew where that was all leading. He knew that was all leading, and he knew what he was doing, and she just wanted to feel something. I think at that point, after that trauma she just had, and he took advantage of it. And it's how many times people do things because they want attention or they want to feel something or they put themselves in compromised situations that can derail some of the things that are more important in their life, like friendships or safety or things like that. And you know, it's really interesting how this show deals with trauma.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Ant, because apparently the reason why she was where she was because she got into an argument with her sister. They were on their way to the party. So it's kind of like a domino effect as far as actions and consequences, because she got preyed by Nate because she argued with her sister and wound up separating. And of course, Lex was trying to call her the entire time while they were at the party.
Yep.
And because she was calling her, she almost got caught in the bathroom.
Dude.
People, right? So Nate's dealing with his own hurt, and he takes that on everybody else around him. And it's the things like hurt people, hurt people, hurt other people. And it's just really interesting. How this whole web is connected. Everybody, what they're dealing with affects everybody else. It's really well written.
Oh yeah. And first off, what was it? Nate Jacobs. The real life actor's name is Jacob. Fit in, but he's my second favorite character / performance on the show. That dude is amazing in this role. Like I was just telling Sam, like in real life, he just seems to be like a soft-spoken, like Australian guy. Like what the fuck? Like this dude's acting his ass off. He's a remarkable, like monstrous villainous character in my eyes, and like that
his
whole
body language.
Yeah, dude. Like
I think that's it.
The actors talked about how he sometimes like when he's being still or watching people, he sort of would give Nate like almost like a Jeffrey Dahmer kind of like serial killer stare, you know, like in the way that he's watching Cassie, you know, and he's making it so that the drink spills on there and they're going faster and faster. Like the suspense and on that car ride was pretty next level. I was pretty certain that he was gonna fuck up and we were gonna get almost like a Ari Aster Hereditary situation, but luckily that didn't happen. But man, oh man, that definitely skyrocketed my heart rate.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jarrell. Because honestly, if I had seen the season 1 first before leading up to this episode, I would believe that he'd be capable of she falls out the car, dies, and he just leaves her tail there, straight up, and possibly pins it on somebody else. Like it's not from a psychological standpoint. Nate is imbalanced. Like there's points where he makes sound judgment, but a lot of the time his motivations are just all the way either to manipulate or clouded by his own issues. And I could really imagine a situation where Cass died right there. You know, his ex is like, "What happened? What happened? Did you see her?" Like, and he's like, "Oh, this is an opportunity for me to get close to my ex again." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't put that past the character Nate, and that's insane. I've only seen one season of this dude, and he's left a mark. He's left a serious mark on the show, and I guess impression for us as audience members and critics, technically.
So he develops a lot of antisocial personality disorders, or what people would actually, sometimes people would call it sociopathic tendencies, and so there's impulsive natures and so he has a lot of challenges himself, but he builds his outward appearance. Like it might be like working out. It might be being really charming when he wants it to be, and all these other things to try to meet these core needs that they expect of others. And you can see that in the way of he likes to make people uncomfortable. I even wonder if the reason why he has a friend, we just said his name. Who's the kid that went to college but got the girl pregnant?
It's my Chris.
Chris, you see when he was like leaning over him and kind of towering over him and asserting his dominance to make him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
it was creepy, but yeah, I see. Yeah, it was definitely dominance and it was definitely both. Like it was just the acting. Oh my gosh! Like seriously, I was just like, "What are you doing, Nate? Like, why is that necessary? Is it because you had her first, but you want to tell him, and it's like, doing that is like." Low-key trying to hint at him like there was something going on. Like it was just he's manipulative as hell. And that's why Fez beat his ass up at the end. Like his manipulation.
He's very like if you've seen The Walking Dead, or you know, like Charles Manson, but would probably be a good description. But he very much so has like a Negan-like presence where it's like he almost gets off on because he clearly has a huge lack of empathy. He almost just gets off on intimidating people and like control freak. Like manipulation seems to be something that like he almost like innately enjoys. It's pretty eerie.
Yeah, I agree because it was I feel like it's a combination. I think that he was getting off on the fact of like, you know what, I just was with her, but I think a part of him also is very possessive too. when he gets something for himself, a part of him was like, oh, well, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? And I think a part of that was like jealousy and possession. Like, even though he just had this interaction just then, like, I think a part of him was like, oh, well, this is mine. Like, yeah, it was yours, it's mine right now. And that it's just fascinating how they wrote him to be so multi-layered and multifaceted.
Yes.
Yeah, so he had that lack of empathy towards what was going on everybody else, unless it directly affected him. Then he got kind of nervous because of what it might cost him access or his perceived. Like, him getting beat in front of everybody is going to hurt him a lot because his perceived image for everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting how he responds to that to get control back.
Right.
I think that even you can also relate to me. If you ever known somebody who has to, if you ever know somebody that's been with somebody, but then when they're with somebody else, that person has to let that other person know in like underhanded ways that I've been with them. Like, they just can't let it. And it was kind of that layer because it's not about them. It's about I now have something over you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have some control over you. And it's very telling that personality traits and insecurities, like real deep-seated insecurities in that way. So it's amazing. It's like his performance is up right up there with Joffrey, in my opinion. Like, you love to watch what he's going to do next kind of thing.
I agree.
Pretty much.
I definitely agree. So we got to talk about elephant in the room, the ending. I mean, we're going to talk about Rue. We're going to talk about Jules eventually, but I feel like we need to talk about the ending and how it led up to that. Because honestly, Fez, he was chilling. I was like, oh man, Fez about to give him a little girl. Like, he kind of just chilling there. And Fez is just eyeing this man the whole entire time. And I can't remember which one of you guys said it. It was like the difference with Nate. Nate's been dealing with high school kids, and Fez low key is just a drug dealer.
Yes.
At the end of the day, he's not about this high school thing. He loves Rue.
Yeah.
He loves Rue's friend. Like he said. But at the end of the day, like, if it came down to it, and somebody threatened his brother's life, he'd kill him. And technically, because of the ramification of what Nate did, Nate was like, oh, bet. All right, Rue did this. I'm going to put Nate in a situation. They're going to have to be compromised. They lose their drugs. Now Fez has to go and rob from the guy that Mouse set him up to get money from. Then later on, in the beginning of this episode, Ashtray knows for a fact that Mouse is about to rob them at gunpoint. He's like, bump that. I'm about to take a hammer to your head and kill you. And he killed him. And that's the first time that Ashtray, I think, had blood on his hands. And I don't think that Fez vibed with that at all. Like, it even said, like, he's been trying to take care of his younger brother, just like he takes care of his grandmother. And I think that at the end of the day, he knows for a fact that Nate compromised that he messed up his business. And so it's like, I don't know. Like, I was curious, you guys, the build up to that, the fight. Like, did you see it coming? What did you feel about it?
Dude,
what do you feel like what's going to happen?
I'm so sad. First off, Luke was so wrong. It's unfortunate that you didn't watch season 1 and then get to that episode and then get to that moment, because to say that it was more heightened, Jesus Christ! Like, also, fun fact: Lexi is really, I believe she's the daughter of Judd Apatow. So, fun fact. But yeah, she when she was watching Fez, like, it's just weird that she like picked up a vibe that he's about to like do some psycho shit, but like Fez takes off whatever like little hoodie he had on, casually walks over there. I was like, wait, is this it? Is this time? Is the nigga about to finally get it? Is it the time? You know? And when he was beating them, I was like, oh my Lord, listen, this might be the very thing that turns him into John Milton's Satan. But hey, it was well deserved. It was long coming. Holy shit.
I'm low-key afraid for Fez, just a little bit, just because Nate is just so diabolical. But Fez is from the streets, so
right.
I it's like, I'm wavering. I don't know who's gonna win ultimately at the end here. Like, because Nate has connections, and so he could easily set Fez up so he can go to jail. And then who's gonna look after his brother? So it's just, I just don't know. Psychologically, I think Nate has the upper hand, but as far as fight and like rawness, Fez totally.
Yeah.
So the thing with Fez, and again, we all know those people. is the person that runs their mouth and is the other quiet person, right? So the person that runs their mouth, and you ever notice it's a guy that's just watching. Not even saying anything, he just watches the situation. And if you're watching it, he's gonna hit somebody out the blue. It's not no fair fight. It's not even about an ego at this point. He's hurt people before, he's gonna hurt people again. This is the step in what's going on. And that's Fez, the most chillest person. Calm, polite, but there's a rule that when you reach that protocol, when you disrespect, when you get them hung up, that a person that goes off on somebody. And then everybody's like, whoa, I did not know you had you know what I'm saying? So Nate has connection. And again, Nate was all about that high school bullying life, that social bullying stuff and getting away with that manipulation and all. This ain't skins. you can't do that and mess up somebody's game. And because this is life or death for them. This is how they eat. And you can't get yourself, like I think Dave Chappelle says something about that. You can't get between somebody else and their food, right? And definitely not get somebody in their life. So, and this let everybody else know too. So this did a lot for Fez. So yeah, he get him hemmed up. But I think what the worry about Nate is, and Nate would ruin his life to get control back. So if he thought that legal ways weren't going to get him to one up again, he might just come up with a gun and shoot him. He's that kind of shooter that would do random stuff and get a bunch of people killed. Now, if he did that and let's say he succeeded, he's also the kind of guy that's going to get killed by Ashtray.
No.
Or if Ashtray feels that he threatens his brother, Ashtray like, I need to do some time. I can do some time with you. I'm juvenile. I got before 21. And and some conditions. All I did was kill a white boy.
Yeah. Full circle kind of moment when he referred to Ashtray as his business partner, similar to how the grandma referred to him as her business partner. So yeah, it was definitely a full circle moment for both of them. Really, I don't know. I just love this show. It's so complex and just so deep. I'm just like, what? And these are high school folk. It's so.
Dude, and everybody's different reaction to the fight. They're like, yeah.
Okay, first off,
Rue was like, damn, and we were like, damn. And again, we've all been to a party where, especially us that was partying in the 90s and stuff. And I was trying to tell somebody like, yeah, we could go to clubs and no one would get shot up in the night. Like, I don't understand going to that. I can't even understand that now. We knew we were going to the club, and we knew at the end of the night it was going to close early because someone was going to go shoot the place. we went willingly. We willingly went to these events. But we've all been to a place where something pops off. We're like, man, they
it just occurred to me that, like, Jesus Christ, it just occurred to me that, I could be totally wrong, but I feel like at this point, because clearly Nate's not going to be dead. That'd be ridiculous. I think that there's going to be like this collision course where one of these niggas is burying the other. Either Fez is burying like Nate in the middle of some woods somewhere, and Nate's going to drive Fez's corpse into some kind of quarry somewhere surrounded by some mountains. Like, I feel like one of them has to die from this as a direct result from one or the other. You know what I mean? Because there's no way. There's no
get them locked up.
It really depends. It depends on. I don't think it's going to end like that. I think that one or the other is going to try to take away the thing that the other loves, and whatever that is, whether it's Nate or whether it's Fez, I think that that's where it's going to end up. Now, is that other person going to get killed? I do think so.
Bro.
I do think so. I don't know where this goes from here because the big thing is that Nate has a lot of pull. Like, his dad is not just going to take that lightly. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, they have everything to lose because at this current time, I think that his ex made a copy of the dad's, sexual endeavors. So, like, she's got something against him. There's a lot to lose that Nate has. So when you corner a lion like that, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to actually happen ultimately.
Nate ain't a lion, though. Nate has a lion persona, but he ain't a lion.
Bro, listen.
I don't know because that man psychologically is not there.
Right.
He's not like, it's kind of like, does he come off as like a whole pound? No, but like when he is off balance, like really off balance and out of control, he is the most dangerous thing I've seen in a long time on television. Because that scene when I don't know if you guys remember it from season 1, I think it was like the last episode where his dad kind of cornered him and they kind of got into a spat. And dad had him pinned down. And he legit had a whole mental breakdown and started banging his head on the floor.
Bro.
And like his dad left the room. He was like, I need to leave this kid alone because he's gonna kill everybody in his house. I don't know what's going on.
When he had him pinned down and he started like convulsing and like like involuntarily, and his dad just left because he didn't know what to do. He was like, "Oh, fuck that."
Right.
What? No, there was that, but I was gonna highlight. Remember when in season 1 when Nate was beating up that dude, and he was making the guy believe like he raped someone, and he was like, "Why'd you rape her? Why?" And he just started wailing on that dude. Like I literally thought he was gonna kill that kid. I forgot what kid this was.
He almost killed him because he's the one that had to go and put himself into jail because the way he set him up. Like the kid was like, "Look, I can't even see out of my eye. And right now, like, I can't even breathe right." Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, don't worry. It's okay. Don't worry. You're going to be okay." And I was something wrong with that kid, bro. So, yeah. We got to, we're almost running out of time. So we got to talk about Jules and Rue. Rue is introduced to a new friend, kind of. A drug accomplice, as you would. And he technically saves her life because she was going into possible cardiac arrest after doing heroin, after doing cocaine. And the other side of that, Jules is back in town. She seems to be making friends all over again, but she didn't know that Rue was at the party and they have their interaction. So what did you guys think about Jules and Rue in this episode? And what did you think about them being together and the merits behind that? Because me and Gerard had a conversation of the fact that yes, they are very good with each other, but they are very bad for each other at the same exact time. And I think it's like one of the most interesting Romeo and Juliet scenarios that I think I've ever seen on a modern level. But anyway, what do you guys think about Rue and Jules in this episode?
It's interesting that there wasn't enough of them together this episode, but of course Rue was trying to avoid her
the whole time,
and it probably is stemming from the special with Jules in a way, but I mean they just have that chemistry, Hunter and Zendaya. I just like you said, they just seem right together, but also wrong together. It's just really weird, and unfortunately I think it is stemming from Rue's addiction. I feel like if she was, clean, maybe their relationship could be a little more healthy. But because Rue is dependent, like Jules was saying, kind of like on her sobriety, like that was too much. That was unfair pressure on Rue's part with Jules. Like that dependency, if there's a codependent relationship happening and they need to fix that element to their relationship so it could be a little more healthy. And because they're teenagers, they don't really know how to do that. They're kind of just trying to figure things out in a general sense. So yeah,
man, oh man, Rue and Jules, like when they first saw each other, I was like, damn it, dog, damn it. It sort of reminded me like when I used to watch Smallville, and like in the later seasons when Lana and Clark would be together, I'd be like, can y'all niggas just stop? Like, come on, Jesus Christ. Like, you guys are so clearly, I mean, great chemistry, of course, but like you were so bad for each other in every other sense. So it was really painful seeing them interact together because I just think it's just going to lead to nothing but trouble. For God's sakes, Jules left her at like a train station or some shit, and then she OD'd like right after. So yeah, I don't know. This is nothing but trouble for me. Great chemistry, like performance-wise, between actresses, but it's just going to lead to one of their downfalls.
or both,
or one of them dying potentially, maybe.
Yeah. What about you, Ant? What did you think about both characters? I mean, you can even go as deep as to what do you think about their characters from psychological level, any way you want to spin it.
Well, I think that we already talked about the codependency level, codependency of their relationship, and I even think that I liked how they showed the manipulation of Rue just saying, "Oh, if you really want me to be honest, it was when you left." That way, you put some blame on the other person, and it's really hard for people to kind of go, especially somebody you care about, to be like, "It's not my responsibility." Right, and that's a hard thing to do, especially when you're so young. You know how to process. You want to save everybody, and you want to do it, not realizing that that's not helping them be healthy. That they can throw that off on you. That your actions somehow led to them doing this negative act towards their own functioning. And so that was, and again, they wrote in a way that seemed like I'm just going to tell it, but no, it was manipulation. It was really manipulation. I really like how they showed. Just how dysfunctional that was, and some active behaviors. When she was in the laundry room, and again, I felt the anxiety. She was like, "Oh, that's my heart. That's my heart." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." She was like, "Yeah, I think I'm." She said, "I think I'm dying," or something like that.
I'm going to cardiac arrest.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "I just came here to get high." I did not come here. Like, what do I need to do? And she's like, "Look, I got that Adderall in my boot. And your boot in my boot." And he just crushed it up for me real quick. You got about you gotta get like 2-3 minutes. I'll be here. And then if you ever know a person like that, when he was like, oh fuck, it's like, I'm sorry I met you. She's like, "No, I'm your new favorite person." I was like, oh, she got him. Because that personality type and where that was, it's gonna work for her for more years. They're friends now. He knows where to go. He knows how his addiction's gonna. I don't know where his addiction's at. It's gonna grow. That was a beautifully written scene. That happened to somebody in real life. They put that on paper. So,
right.
Well, I mean, Sam has said that he
suffered from addiction.
Yeah, drug addiction. So yeah, it definitely shows. Sam definitely shows.
Yeah. One thing I could add to the Jules and Rue situation is that in the finale, I didn't like the fact that Rue set herself up for failure because she was trying to push Jules away. She was like, "You know what? Like, we should just go run away together." And she even said, she was like, "I didn't think she would actually leave though." Like, she was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna kind of push her to this limit, because she's gonna turn away." And instead, no, Jules was like, "No, yeah, let's do it." But then Jules just stayed and left. And that's why I thought that the special episode was really good, because it filled in a lot of gaps. Jules, in certain episodes, I was like, why is she acting like this? I was like, I get it. Like, the codependency is too much for her. But then they started to level out certain things about Jules that I didn't understand. Jules has said she'd never even been with a girl. And so for her, it was like, this is very different. This is different territory because she's never even been with an actual girl. And on top of that, like, your mom also was an addict. And so a part of that is like, you're going to be putting blame and you're going to be putting a lot of strain on your relationship anyway. Not only is the fact that you really actually need her to help fulfill you emotionally, but then you're also going to be judging her before she even came to you anyway. And then Rue is using her like a drug. And it's like, I don't know realistically what's going to happen, because now that they're together, like Ali was like, "Look, dog, the only way you can be able to heal is you don't need anybody in your life that you can use as a drug right now.
Right.
Like, you need to kind of chill." And that's why I love those specials. Specials fill so many gaps of where we are right now. But it's like, it didn't matter now because, like kids, like teenagers, they're right together. And I don't know what that means. And adding in this new person, I think that he's going to be an enabler for Rue from a drug standpoint, and also possibly an affection standpoint, because I think that a part of Rue is still hurt by what Jules did. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. I thought this was a really great discussion, you guys. Anybody got anything else before we close up?
Yeah, I like what you said about their how she's gonna be seeking attention now, and I think you're right. And she's been looking to fill those gaps. And I was just reading a book with someone called "It Didn't Start with You." It talks about epigenetics. The things get flipped with trauma in your genetic code get flipped with the trauma that parents experience. It gets passed on to their kids, and you deal with that with also environmental things like that. So it's very interesting they were putting some of that stuff in there of generational trauma. So it's a good book. Kind of starts off kind of weird, but it's a good book. It's called "It Didn't Start with You." If anybody wants to read it.
Okay.
Oh wow! Shout out to that reference. Yeah, y'all going in on this after show. It's gonna be raw, y'all. Y'all better be ready. Come correct.
It's the show, so I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, this has been pretty amazing. Unless you guys have something else, we're gonna close up shop. Anybody else?
One more thing. I'm low-key shifting Lex and Fez. So that means that unfortunately
no.
Lex is like, I feel like Lex is in danger because of that, because now Nate is out for blood. So I'm just
oh my God, yeah.
You gonna turn Lex into one of those girls and date some drug dealer in college, and she gonna keep dating him until the car she in gets shot up, and she's like, you know what? This ain't my life no more.
No, for real.
That's a real comment.
The flirting between Lexi and Fez was so adorable to me. I was like, oh, shit, my boy's getting in there, dog. And it also made me.
And he sounded sincere.
He did.
He did.
It was a real conversation.
He was just as sincere as that violence afterwards. Like he probably looked at her on the way out, like, listen, I know I did what I did, but like I'm still gonna call you.
Call me.
But you know what? Lexi might get it. Nate might go after Lexi. You know, maybe she's who dies instead. You know.
I mean, that would suck because we were just starting to get to know her.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's not the case, but
yeah. I can see like some romance building up, and we're like, yeah, woo, and then like just right once we sort of have forgot about it, Nate's psycho ass is gonna be peeking around the corner and just blow her brains out. Probably.
I know I already talked, but can we talk about that girl in the car that was calling her a junkie bitch while she's sitting hair on the crotch?
Oh yeah,
I know you. You want to hold a second.
I was like, why are you such a hypocrite right now? But she was hot, so of course she would say that. Like, come on.
She was like, I'm not no fucking junkie while she's doing heroin. I was like, what?
Like Rue was looking at her like,
in your crotch? Are all your veins gone? It gotta be in the crotch.
Looking like, I don't know what's going on, but no, dog. Like Rue was kind of like,
and
no toilet paper in the daggone bathroom. Come on now. You at a party, you don't have enough toilet paper.
That was rude behavior, by the way. If you ain't getting a quickie, do your business, get the hell out. You can't hook up the only bathroom.
Right.
Do your business and get out. That was rude as fuck. That was bad for her.
Right. Homie took a crap. So
he was like, look, no, I'm gonna take this crap.
He was like, listen, you're really hot, but I'm still gonna take a shit regardless.
And looked her in the eye and penis all out, looking right in the eye.
For real.
Wait, so how many penis shots was it? I think it was about 2 or 3 penis shots in this episode.
There was a lot of penis shots.
There was a lot. I mean, it started off with the dude getting shot in his legs, man.
Right.
Like, oh man.
Look, deal with all your issues before you come. Deal with all your issues before you come. Equal opportunity. 2022.
Dude, did anyone think for a moment that like Fez and Zendaya were gonna get butt ass naked? Because for a moment I was like, listen, if her Disney card hasn't been removed yet, my nigga, it's about to get yanked. My boy Tom Holland's about to be the first nigga watching that premiere.
He's one of the few people that I've noticed that has not tried to remotely get naked. Like, I don't even think she's wearing even bathing suits in a movie or whatever. So
she reveals more on a red carpet than she does in any movie.
Wait. Hey, so Jarrell, you and me looked at Malcolm and Marie. I thought she did in Malcolm and Marie.
She was never like nude. She wasn't nude.
I thought she was. I thought you remember the it was after the bath sequence, in the bed sequence. I could have sworn that was the first time that she did that.
My nigga, if she had been nude in the way that them fools was stripping in this premiere episode, I would have had to remember this.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Anyway.
I mean, I know she was like in a bathtub, but I don't think we saw anything, basically, is my point.
I can't remember.
I don't think we saw anything.
Nor was I trying to look. But anyway,
well, no, that wasn't what I was trying to say, but I'm just, in a general sense, she's done a pretty good job as far as like keeping close. Like I feel like she's adamant about like not really revealing too much of her body.
It's very intentional. Yeah.
No, that's fair, but like I was like, oh my god, Zendaya about to just drop trowel? Like this is, oh my goodness.
Oh man. So does anybody have any idea what's gonna happen next? Because I feel like there's still gaps that we really don't know.
Right.
From a time standpoint.
Yeah.
Even the time standpoint coming from, the specials to this episode, I feel like, the show always goes and does like a flashback. That's one of the things they did really well in the first season was flashbacks. But I cannot predict what's about to happen next. So I don't know if y'all had anything before we close up. And any of you guys that are in the chat right now, make sure you leave something in the chat. We will be possibly doing giveaways at the end of each after show. So definitely participate in the chat. We'll be watching it. So you guys have anything participation for next episode?
I think it would be intriguing to see them play with time. Like, for example, it'd be intriguing to see like another flash forward where like there's been some time and Rue and Jules have been together surprisingly for quite some time and Nate's healed up. It'd be interesting to see what the overdose from the season 1 finale looked like.
I want to see that too.
Outside of her head. That would be intriguing.
Yeah.
Or seeing like what it was like for Jules' perspective when she was on the train and we're just seeing Zendaya be a dot in the distance and we pick up from it would be interesting to see them play with time that way. That'd be great.
Yeah, because we don't know. The last time we saw Jules, she said to Rue, which I still pissed me off. She was like, "Oh, I'm in love with this other girl I just met, and I'm in love with you too." And we don't know what happened with that relationship. Like Jules could have went, and that's who she was staying with the whole entire time because Jules wasn't beyond doing stuff. So I don't know. I don't have any anticipation either. Ant or Nat, y'all have anything for next episode?
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that we kind of play catch up with everyone else, like with Maddie, with Kat, with even Cassie, like leading up to the argument with her and Lex before the party. Like, I just don't know what happened in the interim. Like, what led up to that? Is it because of her abortion? Like, what's happening with that?
True.
Yeah. I'm just interested to see other people's stories that we haven't really got to delve into yet and seeing other people's perspectives, even at the party, because we saw some characters in the background that were there, and I'm interested to see what they've been doing this whole time jump. I know we can't accurately say what the time jump was based on Ashtray's age because he grew a couple feet in the intro.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Ashtray definitely jumped a couple years.
I'm feeling like it's between Christmas and New Year's because this was the New Year's party, so the special occurred around Christmas. So I'm thinking there's not too much of a gap, but it'll be really interesting to see if they're even going to time jump to us dealing with the pandemic because based on when this was filmed, that could have an impact as well on these relationships. So I'm just curious to see if they're going to even do that.
And an addiction during a pandemic. It's a lot of
that would be interesting to see Sam kind of embrace the pandemic and kind of bring it in like a apocalyptic way, which would be funny because unfortunately that's what's actually kind of happening.
Right. Yeah, that's part of the reason why the show took so long to even come out for the second season. So,
I can't remember when a show first episode of the season got me this like satisfied. but wanting more of a new thing. So this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is a good time to close up shop.